はい。はい。お願いします。よし。はい。だ、サイドサイド。Hey, eat your shoulders. Circles, one way. And the other way. Hey. What? Hey, back. Hey, showman. Hmm. Your comment. Hey, stretch one side and the other side. Cross one side and change. Hey, hey, I saw it. Hey, I was. Hey,両方。1、横。よし。はい、9、5、9、5、3、9、5、 いい、そう、体を、そう、よいしょ。はい、さい。よし。Hey, I'm back. よし。はい。Oh, welcome back. Open close. Side to side. And deep. はい。よいしょ。よし。はい。Circles. はい。The other way. はい。Double. サイドウェイス。はい。Front. Back. Open your toes. So. そう。よいしょ。はい。9、5、9、5、3、9、5。よいしょ。はい。 Over. Hey, knees down, knees out, knees down, knees out, knees down, out, down, out. Pivot to one side. Pivot other side. So, toes up, hips up. And spine. And circles. Hey. Hey. Slower. Change. Toes up. Change. And in front. Change. And again. Change. Oh. Opening. Elbows down. Go back. Hands down. Side to side. Coming forward. So hips back. Forward again. Hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Hips down. Toes pointing out and hips going back. Hey, toes in, sitting down. So, so, so. So, quick sequence of basic strengthening sets. So, hey, hips up and sun salutations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, yep. So, wind it down, wind up, single leg ups. So here, go up your knee and careful all the way down. Okay, single legs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And down on your back. Dead box. Remember, very important. Close the gap between your back and your and the floor, so that usually engages the core muscle automatically. So close the gap, engage core muscles, raise your legs. Now, here you can have different options depending how developed your core muscles are or how you feel in your lower back. Option one, possibly the simplest one, is just to hold. Just the action of pushing against the floor, engaging core muscles, and raising your arms and legs is already a demand on your core. So that's the most basic thing. You may or may not be able to do it. Okay, so if you cannot even do that, try to just be on your ground on the flat, okay, and raise one leg. Down, engage, and raise the other leg, and so on. So that's the most basic thing: to engage, to be flat, to engage, and to try to raise either both legs and both arms, or only one leg. Okay, assuming that that's okay and that you can do that, then the next thing would be to extend one leg and one arm. Okay, opposite hand, opposite leg. So that would be and the next kind of level if you want to, if it feels okay. The next one is, instead of having your legs bent, is having your legs straight. Okay, arms and legs straight, and then the arms go straight and the legs go straight. Okay, so depending where you are, you can choose the level of your dead bug. Okay, in any of those modalities, I am going to do it with my legs straight, but you can choose whatever you want. Okay, so close your gap, engage core muscles, raise something, and goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, and up again. So, one more time, full set, sun salutations, single leg, power ups, and dead box. Okay, so open your arms, your legs, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. So, bring one knee down, one leg up, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, change sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, on your back. Close gap, engage core, raise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, all right. Remember always, at least, well, always anything that we feel that we have the energy and the time to do. Even one set of things is always good. But if possible, try to accommodate 2 sets, okay, of things. Ideally, 4 to 5 sets, of any exercises that you're doing. Okay, it's a good. It takes you about half an hour or something like that. If you do a warm up and a couple of circuits like this, and each circuit has 3 to 4 exercises, and you do that for about, and you repeat each set, about 3 to 5 times. That's normally around 2 times. It takes you about half an hour. By the time you're hitting, sets of 4, it will take you about an hour. But that's, you can make it as small or as big as you can. Our strength and conditioning program, which is on the website and on the members area, basically follows that. Has a short warm up, a little bit of mobility, and then it has 2 circuits of about 3, 4 exercises, and each circuit has 2 sets. And that should roughly takes about half an hour, 40 minutes maximum. So, and that's good, to be consistent on them in terms of just keeping the body, working on a particular way. Obviously, if you have all the needs or all the objectives, the training regime changes, but that's a good basic regime to maintain the body in a roadworthy condition kind of thing. Okay. All right. So basically what we're practicing this week together with the idea of Zen no Zen in the dojo, we have also been working on how to work with Shomenuchi. And the first most important thing about working with Shomenuchi is that my partner produces a Shomenuchi that is correct, structurally correct. So our basic Shomenuchi, remember your hand raised above your head, uses the shoulder as the primary form of motion, not so much the elbow. Some people can use the elbow as the primary source of motion. It's not a great habit in general because it's the joint that is more important to nourish and to remember that we can use is the shoulder joint, not so much the elbow joint. Okay, so the shoulder joint, and then the shomen must be straight, must be complete, in terms of its direction. At least must finish at the level of your center of gravity. Okay, sometimes it can cut all the way inside of the center of gravity. If you're practicing in solo, it's possibly a better habit. Okay, and then the heaviness and the speed of it, it will just depend on the person that you're training with. Okay, but ultimately can be fast and heavy, and complete. So that's what we're going to try to do now. Okay, a fast, a heavy, and a complete Shomenuchi. Okay, but in this case, we're going to just do a few times to one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pivots to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You work. Okay. Another two qualities that your shaman slowly has to develop. Number one is to try to move harmoniously the upper body and the lower body in terms of time, as opposed to moving the lower body too much ahead of the upper body. The upper body and the lower body should more or less move at the same time, or as close as possible to each other. Obviously, if the upper body moves too quick, particularly the lower body, you are too far from your target. If you move the lower body too quick, and then the upper body, you are too exposed. You are exposing yourself too much to the target. So upper body and lower body must move in harmony as close as possible. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that your shaman, okay, although it is cutting inside and has a sense of heaviness, it also needs to have a sense of outwardness, you know. So sometimes people has compared that as when people who fish, you know, who go fishing, you know, has the fishing rod and they project the fishing rod out, you know, or the fishing rod shoot out. Okay. So the shaman is heavy, comes into the center of gravity, but also has, even for a moment, the quality of extension, which is really important. So, you know, just try to harmonize the timing of your upper body and lower body, see if they are more or less at the same time, and try to see if, in addition to the heaviness and the inwardness of your Shomenuchi, you can also add an element of extension. Okay, a bit like a fishing rod being shot out that is eventually coming back to yourself. Okay, so Shomenuchi. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Builds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our Shomenuchi is such a basic movement in a sense, you know, we practice and we become familiar with it very early in our training process, but it has so many things in terms of, you know, how to use the joint, the important joints correctly, such as the shoulders and the spine, you know, how to balance this idea of weight with extension, okay, which is very important. On one hand, you know, it's almost the two opposites. And sometimes when you are super, you know, down on your weight, you're very contracted into a point. Sometimes when you are really extended, your weight is floating in a sense. So a good Shomenuchi kind of balances those two things quite well. It's heavy, but at the same time, it's extended, okay? Which is a very important quality of, you would say, all our Aikido has to have those two elements. So let's do it one more time. You know, again, there's so many things that maybe, you know, most likely we need to work on, you know, in terms of the use of your correct joints, the correct feeling of heaviness and lowness, the extension feeling, and the harmony of the upper and the lower body. Okay, so see which of those, you know, things you want to work in at the moment. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now it comes the, we have to practice that over and over and over and over, you know, picking up some of those qualities of the Shomenuchi. Now it comes the other part, which is the dealing with the Shomenuchi. Okay, and I think that all of us have been on the receiving end of a Shomenuchi that's too fast or too heavy, in a sense. And there is the the request to, depending on our level, that the uke moderates the speed and heaviness of their attacks, in consideration to more junior people, a child or a beginner. Obviously there's a duty of care in that sense, but at the same time, as we progress, that duty of care kind of is progressively removed, or something that has the more complete qualities of what we were just spoke. So we have all, especially black belts, have been on the receiving end of a heavy and fast Shomenuchi. Now, one element that makes it the ideal moment to catch the Shomenuchi is obviously on its way up. So that's the ideal timing when it's loading. Okay. So now for us to be able to enter in the Shomenuchi when the Shomenuchi is loading, okay, there is a concept of sen no sen, or which requires us to be really present and in harmony with that timing. If that is difficult, and that's why most of the time we feel the heaviness, because all of these occur, and I possibly didn't start reacting until the shomen was coming down or low. That means I carry the shomenuchi instead of harmonize with the shomenuchi. But that's part of the point. So apart from the timing and the distance and all of these things, that is what we're practicing. This morning, let us focus on another thing, which is more structural, right? So because of training, we are very much used to usually meeting shomenuchi with one hand, expecting that this second hand has another function to do. Right? So sometimes my partner shomens, I enter with one hand, and this hand is here, kind of about to do something else. Except though for example, especially when we're moving in the ura side. Okay, in the ura side, there is always that feeling. On the omote side, it should not be that feeling at all, because we know that, especially for shomenuchi, the idea is to enter with both hands at the level of the elbow. So technically, on the omote side, we should always be entering two hands, elbow level, okay, with a good structure, and still timing and distance will affect, and even on omote, sometimes we will collapse, but usually two hands are met with one. But then when we go to ura, as I say, the usual pattern is that we enter with one hand, and usually it's our front hand. So here we enter and then we move, or something. Okay. So we need to have more tools than just that. It's not wrong to enter with the front hand. It's just that sometimes the shomen is too heavy or too fast to be dealt only with one hand. So one option is to enter with that hand and always extend, because that's a very important feeling that we need to have. Always have not this hand only as a protective hand that collapses, but as a hand that is extending towards our target. So first feeling is make sure that your hand is not just there, but that your hand is actively extending. So let's just have that first. So front hand, we're going to enter instead. Give it a good movement of extension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, before I continue with the other things, obviously the obvious way of not feeling heaviness and collapsing against the shomen is to have nothing meeting that shomen. If you would just enter with your body with nothing, meeting the shomen physically, then there will never be a feeling of collapsing, because there's nothing to collapse against. Well, it is true that if a person comes to a shomen and my tai sabaki is clean enough and good enough for me to completely move offline without me protecting at all, I personally think that there is more risk than reward on that idea. Because if that shaman is heavy and fast, and my tai sabaki is not actually that good in timing and momentum, something is going to find that shomenuchi, and most likely it's going to be my head. Okay, so that's why the idea of, well, you just simply have to move offline And don't worry about the arms. It's in principle true because the taisabaki is the most important part, but it's too risky in a sense, So that's why the front hand or a hand is always there, not with the objective of stopping the shomen, but with the objective of protecting our bone, So maybe that's just another thing that we need to work on. Sometimes we are too keen on meeting the shomenuchi. And the hands are not there necessarily to meet it. The hands are there to protect the body, and then let pass or do something else. But not necessarily to stop it or to meet it or to block it. But anyway, so if you're thinking about just moving your body, that's a good intuition. Just practice that a lot because it's very risky, That's why we use the hands. So first exercise, just always extend strongly with the hand. Always extend strongly with the hand. Second one, let's assume we don't use my front hand, that I'm going to use my back hand. Okay, the shomen is going to come, and I'm going to be offline and have this hand making sure that it's protecting my body. So this time I'm not using my front hand, I'm going to use my back hand. Okay, 1, so 2, so 3, so 4, so 5. You go to the other side. This time it's not the front hand, it's the back hand. 1, so 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the important thing is that we have two hands, okay, and that we should be able to choose, which hand is the one, that we are using. So this time, let's see if we can, very plasticity, do one time with front hand, one time with back hand, one time with front hand, one time with back hand. So front hand, 1, back hand, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thanks to the other side. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, back, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so at least that should remind us that we have two hands and that both hands are equally valuable in the process of protecting ourselves from that center line. So not only the front hand, but the back hand. Now, the problem is that in those two exercises, we're still relying on only one hand, either the front hand or either the back hand. And we're still having the problem of having one hand dealing with this heavy, fast attack. So what we're going to do on the next one is to use both hands, okay? And to continue with a cut, okay? So my partner comes, Shomenuchi, both hands come together, even on the Ura side, and both of them cross, okay? So in this time, two hands at the same time, which is a combination of doing 1 and 2, okay? This time both, and cutting that Shomenuchi down, okay? So, Shomenuchi. So, 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now there is at least 3 ways to deal with this Shomenuchi, and each of us is going to be different. Each of us will have strengths and weaknesses in the structure of our body, in our timing. So one is the basic idea of entering with the front hand and then proceeding to the technique with the hand. The other one is at least meeting and pairing and protecting yourself first, even if that makes the transition to what's supposed to be that technique a bit awkward. There is no technique if the attack hit you the first time, in a sense. So important thing first is to protect yourself. So you can do that front hand, big hand retreat. Second one, you really use the back hand to protect and then transition. Or the third one, with both hands center protect. In my preference, when I'm dealing with too fast Shomenuchis, for example, Moreno Sensei is very heavy, very fast Shomenuchi, really both hands of mine come. There's still plenty of clashing. There's still plenty of, force to force jumping, but this is not one hand just collapsing onto my own body. So very important to have this set of options on how to receive and how to work with Shomenuchi. And as the person doing the Shomenuchi, please try to keep developing your Shomenuchi, that it is using the correct joint of the body, that it is extended, in feeling, that it is heavy, okay, and that it is complete. Again, how complete they are, traditionally Shomenuchis have stopped usually at the level of the center of gravity, but it is not incorrect. Possible, have the intention, at least, like with every other technique, to always finish inside your center of gravity. Okay? So good luck with those Shomenuchis. Okay, let's finish up. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Go. Thank you. Go. Yeah. はい。はい。そう。ありがとうございました。そう。